Hi, everyone. This is your Steve here, and welcome to another episode of the Samlo Awesome Taoism broadcast. Taoism Awesome broadcast. Okay, so basically another Taoism talk show, the Tao Talk, and so this episode we'll talk about the Fu colors, the color of like Fu talisman. Okay, so what is a Fu? A Fu is basically, well, you usually see it as a piece of paper with some magical writings over it. Usually you see some stampings over it, and they are used as a way for us to communicate with the gods. Okay, so basically it's like a request ticket to request the help from the gods. Okay, but it's not always in this yellow color form. Sometimes you see other colors too. So for those of you who already know what this is, like you kind of know what Fu is, you might be curious about why there are different colors and what they're used for. And so this episode is going to talk about that subject. Usually the Fu are in yellow, but even we talk like just the yellow Fu, there's sometimes black and sometimes red text. So yeah, there's a difference. Okay, sometimes you see black, sometimes red. It's not always the same. And also the color of the paper, we call that the 5 element colors. There are like green, red, white, black, and yellow, and not just yellow. So different lineage will be using their own specific and their own unique way of communicating with their gods and deities. Okay, so what that means is every lineage has their own way of doing it. So we're going to explain the way in our lineage, but it's not like that in other lineage. Some other lineage might have similar theory, or they might have different theories. It doesn't really matter because it's like that. Okay, it's like Fu and all these things is just a way to communicate with the gods and deities of that lineage. So that's right. You cannot like learn from here and then apply it to other lineage stuff. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Well, someone might be asking or curious about this. If you do not have these special paper, like these special Fu paper that we use, will it even work? Like, how will you do the same magic? And where do you buy these paper? Is there any difference in quality and things like that? So, yeah, the answer is you can basically use anything such as a normal piece of paper, printer paper, or even a piece of tissue can be a Fu paper too. So it will still work in the way like, yeah, you can still do it, okay? But it's always best to use the real Fu paper. The reason is very simple, because the real Fu paper, it's cheap, okay? The quality is nice for those calligraphy brush. It's sort of like the rice paper kind of texture. So it absorbs the ink well, and it doesn't kind of dissolve the ink. Okay, so you won't have those like dissolving blurry lines when you write on the good Fu paper. The good Fu paper are often done with 2 sides, one side smooth and one side rough. The smooth side is better for you to write Fu because the text that we're doing, you don't want the ink to like go on it and like kind of dissolve all the way. Okay, so you don't want blurry edges, you want sharp edges, and you want a better flow, then that will be using the smooth side to write the fu. Fu paper, the yellow ones, okay, the normal typical ones, are made of something like bamboo, and I believe there's like egg and stuff, whatever, okay? So some kind of stuff. Basically, it's made of bamboo. And they are edible, so you can eat them, you can drink them, you can burn them. Okay, when you burn these food paper, they actually burn very steady and quick. So it's not like burning a normal piece of printer paper, where it generates a lot of smoke and it just get very messy. Okay, these food paper are not like that. When you burn them, they just whoosh and it's all done. So burning, you will need these paper. These are very good for burning. Okay, and also the poor quality ones, like the not so good ones, well, why they're cheaper is because they're made cheaper and there's not much quality control over things. So from my own experience, the cheaper and like the more sucky quality ones, they will often, let's say, have broken edges, very easy to like torn apart, easily get damaged and things like that. So you want the good stuff, okay? They will last longer and offers you a much better writing experience. So where do you buy these paper? Well, there are shops that buy all these kind of like incense and all that kind of stuff. They will sell these paper as what they call the 黄表紙, okay? It's like the yellow paper for the form, like the form you will submit to the supernatural side, okay? And so these paper are sold usually, okay, in bulk, and some are cut, some are not pre-cut. But for me, we usually like get those pre-cut ones and like cut a whole stack of it and just stock up the full paper, and because you use it all the time, so you really do need a lot of them. So if you're in our lineage, okay, you will be getting all these equipment from the Dai Sifu in the lineage. Okay, so you don't have to even go around and shop for these things, because we deal with these things, and like we know where to get it, and so all you need to do is buy from your Dai Sifu when you're in the lineage. So the text of the Fu is usually in black or red, and it's basically telling the god your intention. Like basically it's like this. The red color is like how you write things in red and people see it, and it's like urgent, something to do, right? When you write something in black ink, it's more passive. It's like you look at it and you understand, you get it, like, yeah, I know what to do later, like that. The simple way to put it is input or output. So the black brush or the black text Fu usually is just to let your the god know of something. Okay, so it's input to the god. So the god read, understand, and later if you need help, they will give you the help. But red is like something like you request the god to do it for you right away. So it's more like, can you please help me to kick out this evil spirit right away? That will be red. So it's like you want to carry a Fu, and later on, you want to carry this food to the exam place or like to school. So when you're going through the exam, you're going to do better, have help. That will be black. So Josie understand right now, and later when that thing happen, Josie or the god will give you that help. the Fu paper also has what we call the 5-element color, which is the famous yellow. There's a green, red, black, and white paper. The yellow paper are the command Fu, okay? So they're used for commanding. And that's why yellow is so commonly used, because it can be like yellow, command, and then it can basically command anything to happen. So yeah, if you need to write a red Fu or green Fu and you don't have that paper, yellow paper works the best because it basically do everything. The green and red is green is like you're planting in something or you're installing something, like when you need the god to charge in its power into something, that will be green. If you want the god to output their firepower, like their power to boost whatever is happening in reality, that will be red. So usually, like for example, if you have the Fu for bringing in, like to energize the house, that will be green. If you want like a Fu to be taped there for helping you when you're like talking with people, talking business, that will be red, because red is for something that is already happening and you're bringing in that boost. Okay, so that will be the red. Black and white is very simple. White is like what it is. It outputs and like radiates light. Okay, so white is used when you want the god to give you the light. Okay, like giving you the opportunity, giving you something new in your life, you know, like a chance. For example, you have a Fu that requests, you know, a wish to be granted, okay? That will be the white Fu. Then you carry that Fu around and you expect the god to give you the, not extra, but give you the new opportunity. Okay, so like if you are trying to go for a job search and basically you feel very like hopeless because you keep going everywhere and just can't find a job, then you will want the white Fu, okay, just to help you to make sure that you can see a job, okay? And then there's the black Fu where the god take back something. For example, there's a place that always have accident there. Okay, like there's always this accident right there, and you want to, like, you already see that there's a bad energy staying in that place and not going away. So in that case, you'll want to have the black Fu. So that that asks the god for help in terms of taking back something, like sucking up something. Okay. Of course, the black Fu can also be used for like requesting the god to help you attract something to your place. For example, if we're doing a Fu for this luck boost or business booster, and a black Fu will be useful when you want the god to help you attract customer over, attract business, attract this and that over. Okay, so usually, most of those Fu are done in black ink, black text, but when we use the yellow Fu paper, then we will use the red text sometimes, because red connects to that yellow Fu. It's like commanding things to be done, okay? That makes sense, but it doesn't make sense when you use it with the other Fu paper. So red brush is usually used with the yellow paper. The 5 colors of the paper, of Fu paper, represents the 5 elements power, which is like the 5 phases, you can say, or 5 ways how your how the god can help or do things for you. Okay, so with these 5 colors, it will allow you to have a lot of variations in terms of like how you want the magic to be done. But the main point is the text inside the Fu are just a way to communicate with the gods and deities. And the fu itself, it's basically like a language, okay, a way to communicate. So every different lineage will have their own set of communication method, language. And so if you like, right now you learn from this lineage right here, okay? You understand how our fu works. It doesn't mean how other lineage is going to be like, okay? So every lineage has their own unique way of doing things. And very much you can see that you can say that none of these lineage will share the same thing, but they might have similarities in some kind of way, yet they do not like you cannot use lineage A stuff on lineage B. It doesn't work like that, okay? So for example, the 5 elements color, like 5 different colors of the same fu. For example, a wealth booster fu, okay? If you're using yellow, it will be like asking Josie or asking the gods, okay, to help you welcome the wealth in right away, okay, immediately. Now, if you use the black fu, it will be asking the gods to help you pull in more clients and pull in more chance for business to happen. Okay, now if you use a white fu, it's basically like asking the gods for giving you the light so that you can see the future better, and like seeing what can be done, seeing how to get better and such like that. If you use the green fu, that is asking the gods to charge in its inspirational power, which help you to sense, get inspired, and so the wealth can come. If you use a red fu, it will be like asking the gods to help you boost the stuff that is already there, already happening. For example, you're already like talking business with someone, and well, this fu will help you close the deal much faster. So now you can see all of these paper are actually pretty useful because the same fu, okay, can be combo up with different fu colors. But the main point is not the color. Like most of the newbies, they will ask, so if I do this color, is it right? Should I be using this color? And such. Basically, you have to focus on your intention first, okay? If the intention is right, then even if the fu color is used wrong, it will still work. Now, that's the fun part of magic because it's all about your heart. So now you understand the basic of how these fu and fu paper works. As you can see, it's all about you communicating with the gods and deities of the specific lineage. So if you have interest in learning more about these things, and well, now like here, you see I'm talking about the stuff in our lineage, right? The Samlo Taoism. So if you think that this is the path that you can learn from and benefit from, then you can basically go to our website and get ordained and start to learn right away. At the end, I also want to introduce you what we call the check, which is in English, there's a word like consecrate, okay? Consecrate. Basically what that does is like we are doing some magic to tell the god that this paper or this pen or brush or whatever, it's your paper, pen or brush, something like that. Okay, so it's like this brush is not my brush, it's the god's brush. Okay, that's the basic idea behind this tick stuff. So we mark that as the god's brush, the god's paper. And that is why these things will work to communicate with the gods and deities, because they are like special tools approved and agreed by the gods and deities. Okay, so like not you cannot just have anyone, pick up a random brush or random pen and start using them and expect any gods or deities to like read or understand, see your stuff, because it's not acknowledged, it's not approved, it's not something that the other side agreed on. So for us, we have this what we call the check to check different things, to empower different things. And basically what you're doing is not just empowering, it's basically to let the gods and deities know of these things, and so that they can agree to it, and they will say, okay, this is what we have agreed to. Okay, this is my brush. When you write with this, it represents the authority of this lineage, and you can basically use this to submit your request ticket and we'll answer. So basically it's a two-side, like, you see, it's not only your side, okay, it's about both sides, you and the gods and deities, the communication between both sides. Okay, so that's it for today. We're going to keep it short. And if you do have any more questions and things you want to know about with these Taoism stuff, feel free to send us an email. Okay, email. Yeah, that's great to do. And also check out our website, teenagedragons.com. We got a blog there. And you can also come to our website to get to request for the ordained to become a Taoist in our lineage and start learning all this cool stuff for real. Okay, so that's it for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!